Hello friends, welcome back to my channel Beginner to Expert. This is part 15 Angular 7 tutorial. So in this tutorial I will explain how to store the user generated token in the different ways and how do we validate that token in subsequent request. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so flips to Visual Studio Code and I created one service that is called session service. So this session service is responsible to store the generated user token and other user information to the browser storage. Okay, so in browser storage there are basically two type. One is session storage, another is local storage. Okay, so here I am using session storage. So yeah, I will explain why I am using session storage instead of local storage. So some demerits or you can say disadvantages there by using the local storage. So this method set data to session, expecting one key and data. So in order to save the data to the storage in the browser, we need two things. One is key and another is the data. So that's why I am passing these two parameter, and data should be in the string format. Okay, so that's why I changed that any data to the string mode. Okay, so that's why I used json.stringify. Okay, now next thing, I created one private variable that is called notify session data. So now you may ask why we need this property. Yeah, that is true. We need this property because whenever that data will be stored in that session storage, I need some notification should be triggered to other stuff like other component, other directive or pipes. Okay, so other staff also get to know, okay, something has changed or something user information has changed, we need to take the latest one. Okay, so that's why I have created. I will show it now. Next is the get session. So get session, actually this is nothing but it is returning an observable. Okay, if you hover it, observable of object. So you can check I used the behavior subject of type object, and I am assigning the default value from that if any, I mean, any user session data is exist in that session storage or not. Okay, so that's why I created one private variable and it is returning that user information, session storage data. Okay, okay, now I will open the http helper service. So last time I discussed about this http header part. So content type is basically application slash www formal url encoded, and which you will expect to send data, post data or fetch data from service. Okay, now okay, so here I am registering that session service and I'm fetching that get session. So get session actually expecting one key. Okay, I'm passing that key as a cu, means current user, and I am subscribing that method because this method actually returning an observable. So here I am getting that response. Now this response I am storing in the current user variable. So here, that means whenever the session data will be stored, this method, actually this uh, block of code will be triggered. Okay, and that time that latest user information we will get. Now this I'm checking here, if the current user exists, then we are adding the, means we are adding one http header property that is called authorization. So, and here also I'm injecting one authentication scheme like bearer. So there are so many authentication is there, like basic, bearer, and other things. So you can check it in that Mozilla Mozilla website. So their basic, bearer, digest, those are the authentication scheme. So here I am using the bearer. So because as I am passing the token, which is more encoded, more secure, so that's why I am using the bearer. So here I changed a little bit. So in the fetch method, in also post method also I have changed the same things. Now if I go to the login component, so once user login, then only we are setting that set data to session. I'm passing that current user information as a key, and here response.data means user information. That user information will have that first name, name and token. Okay, now I'm navigating to the dashboard. Okay, so in order to fetch the user data, I have created one user component over here, and you can check user component. Here I am injecting the HTTP helper service, and I'm fetching that user profile list. So here if you open the user component HTML, here I am looping through each user, and I'm binding the two property, first name and email. So here all about that user component. Now if we open that browser, so here refresh the page and submit the credential. Now if I open that console of the browser, you can check that I am setting that user token and required parameter like first name, full name, and username. Okay, so now I will show you how I am passing the token to the server to fetch that each means user list. So these are called subsequent request. So if I click the user, then here I put one debugger. Here you can check the token I am passing. Okay, so I use that bearer scheme. Now if I continue, then you can check the list of user I got from the service, and also I will show you. So here you can check that this is get request, and here I'm passing that authorization with bearer scheme, and this is my the token. Okay, and content type like application form URL encoded. Now here is my response. Okay, now I will show you if I change the token or if I modify the token, so what will happen. Okay, so here you can check the list of users we are able to fetch. Now if I put a debugger before sending the token to the server, now if I go to the dashboard, now if I come back to that user, now here you can check the token. Okay, so now the application level also you can check the source and session storage WEW last one. Okay, now I will change. Now the current token is like this. Now if I change the token like, and I will reassign the token W to T. Okay, now I changed. Now you can check in here variable last one is changed to T. Okay, now if I continue, then you can check in the console we are not able to fetch the user list at all. Now if you check in console, here you can check that you are unauthorized. Okay, now if I refresh the page, now we need to check that application session storage level whether it got changed or not. Okay, now it didn't change. Here you can check WEW. Okay, that if I refresh the page, now what will happen. still you can check here. I am sending the original token. Okay, now this time I'm not changing wew. Now if I continue, now you can check that user list is coming depending on that correct token. Okay, so this actually this JWT token, you know what, so more secure. So if user unknowingly change that token, so service will not allow you to fetch the subsequent request data. Okay, but if we got any 401 during HTTP call, okay, so this time we need to prompt the user that your session got expired, and means application will redirect to the login. So you need to log in again, so user has to log in. Okay, so this kind of scenario I will discuss in my upcoming video. Okay, so now next step I will show you. If I click the logout, then what will happen? So in order to user has to log out, so we need to follow the two step. One is to clear the session storage, and second step is to redirect to the login page. Okay, so to achieve that, I created one method that is log me out in that layout page. Okay, so here I created that log me out, and here I am navigating user to the root page, I mean to say that account login page. Okay, so I have injected over here session service and router. So router will help us to navigate the user. Okay, now next step we need to clear the session which I stored here. See here, as of now, two method available, no method related to the remove session. So here I will create one method called remove session data. Okay, so remove session. So I will pass one parameter called key. So in order to remove data from session storage, we need actually one key, and the key we have used to store the data. Okay, so here you can check that, sorry, session storage, and this session storage actually inbuilt in the JavaScript, so don't worry about that. So here you can check that remove item. So if I use the remove item, actually it expects one key, and the key we are passing, and this method actually not returning any value. So here also my method also won't return any value. Okay, so if I go to that layout component of the dashboard here, so here actually I'm using that remove session with the key current user. So this way we can remove the session, and we can also redirect user to the login page. Okay, now save the things and open the browser, and it will got refreshed. Now if you log in again, now if I click load user, then we are getting that user information. Now if I click the logout option, then actually it is, you can check in the session, it is clearing, it removed the data and redirect to the login page. Okay, now I will show you. If I remove explicitly the session data, then what will happen? Okay, so if you go to the application, here you can click, means clear all the session storage data. Now if I click the load user, now you can check that system automatically redirect user to the login page. So how this actually happened? So earlier I discussed about the HTTP interceptor. So we can use that HTTP interceptor to invoke each and means invoke before each and every HTTP call made. Okay, so I will show you what I have written in that. So HTTP token interceptor I have written. So here I am actually fetching that user information from the session storage, and here I am checking that token exists or not. If not token exists, then I am redirecting user to the login page is the route. Okay, so this actually I will show you. Okay, so now if I log in, then if I load the user, then if I remove the session, now if I put one debugger inside that HTTP token interceptor, okay, here I'll put debugger. So once I click on that load user, actually it before HTTP call went, it came to this place, and here actually it is checking. Okay, oh, token is not exist. Okay, so here if you go, then it will redirect user to the login page. Okay, so this way we can achieve so means whether the user will stay on that dashboard or not. Okay, so in my upcoming video i will show I will show you once I got that 401 means not authorized, user are not authorized. So in that scenario, how it automatically will redirect user to the login page. Okay, and also I will show you is the difference between the session storage and the local storage. Okay, so in order to show you, need I will open that login component. Okay, so here I will set like local storage dot set item. Okay, let's say test will be key and string will be like anything. Okay, now save the page and log out this session, and now click on the login. So now we can check the session storage. We are storing the user information, and if you expand the local storage, then you can check the test that key is present. So now I will close the browser. Now if I reopen the browser, here you can check that session storage data and local storage data is exist or not. If I open the console, here you can check the local storage data still present once while user closing that browser. Okay, now if I open the session storage, here you can check the data is not there. So that means whenever I will reopen the the browser, that time no session data will be stored in that browser session. Okay, that is only for the temporary purpose. So once user in that session only, that time only this data will be exist, but local storage, whether I closed the browser or reopen the browser, still that data would be there. Okay, think I will show you here in this tab. I kept, okay, if I open that load user, now if I copy the URL and if I try to open in the different tab of the same session browser, now if I refresh the page, actually it will redirect user to the login page because the session data exists for this tab browser session. Okay, so this way we can prevent the user data to uh, to be duplicate. Okay, so this is the best way to store the user information in the session storage always. That's all for the day. So in my upcoming video I will show more authentication about the Angular application. Try it by yourself. So still, if you have any queries, so please don't forget to leave a message in the comment section below. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.